5:50 remaining in the third quarter. Draw play with Blunt. And that will take Blunt over 100 rushing yards for this game. The first time this season that he has passed the century mark.
This would have to be a huge surprise for Winnipeg's defense to think that Edmonton would come in here and have a back go over 100 yards. They've struggled all year long. The offensive line has played so well. They're only averaging about 68 yards a game running the football. 66 yards a game running the football, and they've really pounded the run today.
2nd and 3, and this is Sellers, and he pounds his way for a first down.
Well, it looks to me as though they're beginning to wear down the front 7 of the Winnipeg Blue Bomber defense. Pounding Blunt and then coming back with the 250-pound fullback Mike Sellers. Nice little move there to avoid Tyrone Rogers, and he hits it up in there for the first down. It takes about 8 Blue Bombers to bring him down.
Well, maybe they saw something last week against Calgary with some of the late success they enjoyed running the football, and if they can continue the way they're going here, although Blunt has stopped right in his tracks. He ran into a couple of people as he tried to cut to the outside. But it's important late in the year to be able to run the football as well as throw it, as Ron Lancaster will acknowledge. But so far this year, the Eskimos have basically lived on the passing strength of Danny McManus.
Well, I think McManus realizes they're running the ball well today, and he's giving the offensive line to establish some confidence in the running game, as well as Eric Blunt, who hasn't really carried the ball that much this year or for much success. So this is really building some confidence for down the road.
Time count violation against the Eskimos.
Time count violation, Edmonton number 14.
The ball comes back to the 44-yard line. It will be 2nd and 16, Edmonton.
You look in the eyes of Danny McManus, and he's going through his thought process of what would I like to call in this situation? What did I see on film that will give me an opportunity to pick up this first down or get myself in field goal range?
Screen to Blunt, but Dwayne Knight was able to get through and pick him up from behind. The blockers were just a little too far ahead of Eric Blunt on that center screen.
Well, a good tackle by Dwayne Knight, even though the blockers had cleared. Blunt just slips out. Actually, it's just a dump pass to Blunt. They don't actually screen it. Knight makes a great tackle here, because if he doesn't make the tackle, Blunt's up the field for another 10 yards and have a chance to get the first down.
Initially, I thought it was a screen, but you're right. Just a little dump pass over the middle, and Dwayne Knight stopped Blunt from getting upfield, and now Sean Fleming with 3:19 comes in for a third down kick. Davis waits for it at the 5-yard line. And Davis is stopped as he brings it back to the 11. 3:07 is the time left here in the third quarter at Winnipeg Stadium. Edmonton leading. For the most part this afternoon, the Bombers haven't enjoyed great field position for any offensive series, and they are in the shadow of their goalposts once again as we have 3:07 remaining in the third quarter. Eric Blunt finally hit that century mark in running with the football.
Eric's in the final year of his contract, and he would like to end with a flourish to see if he can't do something for himself down the road. As far as the contract goes, I'm sure that Edmonton will want to address that and try to keep him in the fold.
Hand off to Williams. He bounces off the initial contact and takes the ball up to the 24-yard line for a Winnipeg first down. Last year, the Bombers at this stage in the season had an 8-7 record. This year, of course, 3-12. Edmonton had an identical record after 15 games last year, 9-6, finishing at 11-7.
And I'm sure they'd like to finish up right where they finished up last year, having a chance to win the Grey Cup. And And I don't think it bothered him too much if Toronto was the team they had to face in that Grey Cup either.
Pitcher is in as Williams limped off to the sidelines. Penalty flag back at the line of scrimmage. The pass incomplete.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Edmonton number 40. First down.
The call against Benny Goods of the Eskimos. He's a force on that defensive line for Edmonton. They like to get him in situations where he isn't being double teamed.
And they won't get him in a situation where he's not double teamed, because there's that much respect for Benny Goods. He's going to get double teamed in any ball game, but he's been hampered by injuries, and he's just now getting back healthy to where he can play at full strength.
One thing he does so well, anticipate the snap count. Blue with pressure from the outside. The pass over the middle to Pitcher, and Pitcher has the feet taken out from under him by Derek Beattie.
Well, this isn't familiar territory for David Pitcher. He normally is not in the ball game as a running back. He normally is in the game as a special teamer, and he's played well in that capacity, but they're screening the football to him with Ronald Williams, who got banged up on the last run that he made, was holding the shoulder, and Pitcher now takes the screen.
Vargas operates from the shotgun to the sidelines, and the pass is complete to Alan Boyko for what should be a first down, depending on the spot. It looks as though it's going to be at the 51-yard line.
Well, Boyko made the catch, and they're going to a no-huddle operation. And this is Vargas trying to lock the Edmonton defense into something that will allow him to make a play.
Williams is back in. Pitcher goes to the bench. Williams gets the ball. He bounces for about 3 yards up to the 54-yard line. When you talked about David Pitcher, he initially came into the league as a receiver, then put on a little additional weight and did some long snapping chores for Montreal last year.
Actually, he was pushed into some service as a defensive lineman last year also.
Williams in the flat, and he stopped right in his tracks. Beattie and Reed were both there. No opportunity for Williams to go anywhere once he made the catch.
Well, Vargas he's looking for two receivers, one with Stiegel breaking inside and Williams breaking to the outside. Edmonton had done such a good job of covering Stiegel. He had to stick it out quick to Williams, but Cavis Reed and Derek Beattie were there right away to make the play.
51 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Edmonton leading by a score of 11-2. Cameron's last punt, a 68-yarder for his first single of the season. Williams is going to drop back along with Don Blair for this third down punt by Bob Cameron. Williams fields it on the run, but there's nowhere to go. Good downfield coverage by the Bombers. Greg Battle was one of those in on him, along with David Pitcher.
Super special teams play by both teams today. There really hasn't been much room to run the football after catching it. Wade Miller, one of the best. In fact, he is the best as far as tackling returners, with leading the league in special teams tackles. Wade Miller, number 54, and this is what kind of respect you get when you lead the league. Being held there by Faraway and Willie Pless, but he fights through it. There he's clipped. That's what happens when you're on special teams. They come in from nowhere on you. He's played well this year on special teams for Winnipeg.
Eric Blunt, the ball carrier. And I would think in Edmonton, they have to be delighted with what they're seeing from number 35.
Well, I think that Eric Blunt's blood pressure is up a little higher, and he's got a little bit bigger pulse too, because this is something he really hasn't gotten to do much. They're pulling around the outside again with Schuldice. Schuldice just gets a piece of Greg Battle, and the blocking downfield by the receivers just enough to pick up another first down for Edmonton.
This will be the final play of the third quarter. It is Blunt again, and Blunt has about 8, maybe even 9 more. And that is the final play of quarter number 3, with the Edmonton Eskimos continuing to lead in a game that has yet to produce a touchdown. 11-2, the Eskimos lead, trying to move closer this afternoon at Winnipeg Stadium to wrapping up first place in the Western Conference and to buy into the final, and hopefully a victory that will lead them to a home field Grey Cup game on November the 16th. The Blue Bombers missing the playoffs for the first time since 1979. Eric Blunt, a 1,091-yard rusher last season, started the year strongly this year. On July the 4th, had 88 yards against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but really struggled since. And today against Winnipeg, regaining some of the form he displayed last year.
Well, and Edmonton doesn't stay with the run. If it struggles early in the first 3 or 4 carries, they get away from it and start throwing it.
Sellers on the second down play, picking up the first down.
Well, the offensive line in a short yardage situation just has to come off. You're not trying to create a hole. You're just trying to drive the first level of blocker, first level of defenders, that being the D-line, into the linebackers. And Sellers, with his bulk, actually helps drive that first level to the second level and pick up the first down.
And you saw Blunt in there trying to lead block for Sellers. I think he was thinking perhaps maybe I should get out of the way. Flutie on the sidelines. He can't hang on. He had to make a rather acrobatic move in midair to attempt to squeeze the ball. It will be 2nd and 10 Edmonton.
And this smart quarterback, Danny McManus, realizes the running game's working, so he goes play action, and he has a shot here. The ball floats on him a little bit, and Darren has to adjust in the air and try to make a circus catch, but thus, as you can see, he's a little hot with himself. He realizes he probably should have come up with that one. Those are the kind of catches we come accustomed to seeing Darren Flutie make.
Second and 10 for Edmonton. Hand off to Blunt. Blunt following his blocking and getting close to another Edmonton first down as he strikes to about the 53.
I'll tell you what, the running game is going good on 2nd and 10 when you hand the ball off straight ahead. This isn't a draw play. This is a straight ahead running play with Blunt. He just gets behind that big offensive line. Rod Conop, Thomas Ram coming off on that left side, and he gets in behind those two guys and picks up what's close to a first down.
He's now got 133 rushing yards. And the measurement reveals he's just about a yard shy of a first down. Well, the way this ground game has been working today for Edmonton, I think they'll send in the short yardage crew and try and pick it up.
Yeah, the big crew comes in, and the stats after 3 quarters, and the rushing yards are reflected in the time of possession, because when you run the ball well, you eat the clock up. And no turnovers. Danny hasn't been able to throw the ball very well, but he hasn't turned it over throwing it, and Eric Blunt, Sellers have covered the ball up and not put it on the ground.
3rd down gamble by Edmonton. Winnipeg stocks the front, but Sellers is going to drive to midfield for an Edmonton first down.
Brought in their short yardage crew, and their offensive line got a great push that time, because Sellers was not really touched until he actually had already picked up the first down. This is just about who's going to get lower and who's going to get more push. And you see that that offensive line just got a great push. Shouldice in there folding back the defender, and Sellers gets in behind to pick up the first down.
Well, McManus may not have great numbers today, but this season he has passed for 3,600 yards, and the numbers I think he likes most, the 20 touchdown passes as compared to 17 interceptions. Many seasons it's been the reverse. The INT total has been higher than his touchdown total.
Yeah, I think he's happy with that. He's obviously not happy with where the numbers are, but they're certainly in better ratio is where he would like to have them. And Danny McManus, he doesn't care if he throws another ball in this game. That's the kind of attitude he has. If they can run the ball the rest of the game and continue to pick up first downs, he's very happy with that. Not a stats guy at all. The only stat he's concerned with is, do they end up with the win at the end of the game?
2nd and 8 as McManus goes to the shotgun. An unusual crouching position when he runs out of the shotgun. It's dumped off over the middle to Sellers, and Sellers tried to break free of would-be tacklers, escaped two, but couldn't get away from Tyrone Rogers.
Well, this was the screen this time that you talked about earlier, Don. They tried to get the offensive line out in front. They bluffed the downfield play. You see McManus will look downfield, and then he'll drop the ball off underneath. Offensive line out in front. And again, Dwayne Knight, second on this team in tackles behind Shante Peoples, forces the play enough and allows the defense to rally and make the stop. Dwayne Knight played with me in Ottawa last year, and he's been a nice addition to this linebacker corps. He can fly around the field and make some plays.
Fleming's third down kick. Davis lets it go, and it will bounce out of the end zone. It initially appeared as though he was going to try and field it, and then he may have been hearing some shouted instructions from the bench to let it go. And that's what happened, and it's now a 10-point differential. Well, it's been a tough year for Winnipeg offensive coordinator Joe Paopao, working with young, inexperienced quarterbacks. I know why he'd like to get you into uniform.
You're going to start that all over again.
Vargas out of the shotgun. This one is picked off, and it is going to be taken out of bounds by Henry at about the 15-yard line. Tommy Henry moving from a defensive back position a year ago into a linebacking spot this year. Senior Mobley was the man they had in that position in the past, and Henry, an undersized linebacker, but he has the quicks, and he moved into position for this interception.
Well, he understands pass coverage because, like you said, Don, he's a defensive back playing that role. This is his 5th interception of the year. He's done a good job against the run. It's not his strength. His strength is against the pass. And you see there, he just read the quarterback, floated into the middle of the field, and Vargas was trying to get the football to Milt Stegall, but reading the eyes of the quarterback is what defensive backs do, and that's essentially what Tommy Henry is, and he got the job done there.
Vargas has been intercepted 19 times this season. He only has 9 touchdown passes. Blunt, the ball carrier, to the outside and inside the 10-yard line. This game today against Winnipeg, his most productive as a running back since the 5th of July last year, when he had 134 yards against the Montreal Alouettes. Last year he had 3 games of 100 yards or more rushing.
Well, Eric's a patient runner. You see, he takes a lot of time as he gets in the hole. He what I call presses the hole, waits for the hole to develop, and then slides to the opening. He's been tackled so much in the backfield that his yards per attempt had been down. This time they're getting a lot of push.
The toss to Sellers. Sellers didn't get his head down and drive the way he perhaps should have. And will he have a first down, or where will they spot it? It's at the 5, and he had to get inside the 5.
Well, Ron Lancaster's going to send in the short yardage crew, and they're going to go for it here on 3rd down. And I think Ron's trying to put this game away. He realizes they punch one in here, it'll be very difficult for Winnipeg to come back. They've run the ball extremely well, and I think they're just going to try to pound the run here at Winnipeg and try to really put this one on ice if they can.
A more experienced back might have put his shoulder down and attempted to drive on that play. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think you get his... Well, he got up in the air, and then he got the shoulders down, and he was in. That's tough. You get 250 pounds elevated and sailing down the field. I don't care how big you are. It's going to be tough to stop Mike Sellers getting the first down there.
The Eskimos 4 for 4 on 3rd down gambles. Give it to Sellers on those short yardage plays, and he goes up over the top to get it.
And you're right, Don. You see him get the shoulders down just before impact. I don't think he did on the previous play, and still really trying to learn the position. It played defensive line, as we have alluded to, played a lot of special teams, really hadn't had a chance to play much running back.
First and goal. It's Sellers going up over the top for the touchdown.
Well, this opportunity all created by their defense as Mike Sellers cashes in the Tommy Henry interception.
Hey, you know what? It's great playing for Edmonton. I thank God for everything. Dad, I love y'all back in Edmonton. Hey, Edmonton, I love y'all. It's cold up here and it's raining.
You know why Tommy's saying that? He was with me in Ottawa last year, and we were 3-15. So anywhere he could have been this year would have been better. But certainly, he's having fun in Edmonton this year.
It's 18-2 Edmonton, and 14 of the points the result of turnovers. Sean Fleming to add the extra point. It's always fun playing for a team with a winning record.
No question about it. Makes it a lot easier.
.8:41 remaining here at Winnipeg Stadium. Danny McManus directing an Eskimo attack that is...
Go there.
Mike Sellers kept the football, a souvenir of his first touchdown. 10 carries for 19 yards in this ball game, and the last 3 carries by Sellers as he puts it into the end zone.
Well, like we said before, you get 250 pounds airborne going one direction. It's difficult to get it directed the other way, and that's a plus they have now with Sellers down on the goal line. And he's only got 19 yards, as you said, Don, but he's used primarily in the short yardage situations, and he's gotten the job done today.
Fleming needs help in keeping the ball on the kicking tee as Milt Stegall takes it at the 15-yard line. Stegall reverses his field. There's a penalty flag as Stegall gets to the sideline and then is forced out of bounds. This effort is probably going for naught, as it looks as though an infraction on the return will bring it back.
Well, you're probably going to get an illegal block or a hold here, but there was a little taste of the ability.
Holding, Winnipeg number 58.
There's a taste of the ability of a Milt Stegall. He's the guy they like to try to get in those situations to try to make a play.
Seattle, what's up? How y'all doing? Going down.